Thank you, Lynn. Tarrant County Sheriff Dee Anderson joins us live from our Fort Worth Bureau with more on this case. So many strange circumstances surrounding it. We heard that, he was accused of slashing tires back then. A lot of us have, trouble in our neighborhood where something like that might happen. Is this something, do you think this is something that people should be looking closely at, something like this?
Well, I certainly think it's a big jump to think that someone that's committing vandalism is going to do a terrible crime like this. It's certainly not indicative that someone's getting ready to abduct or murder a child because they're committing vandalism. But when you look at the whole history of this suspect, and now that they're digging much deeper into his background and looking at some things, there were some indicators there, I think, that this was somebody that was clearly troubled, but I don't think anyone could have predicted he'd do something like this.
True.
And Sheriff, if Tyler Holder is convicted of this murder, in some ways, it would seem he almost wanted to get caught. We hear about him showing up at the memorial with a wanted T-shirt, also telling neighbors Ilana's name before the body had been identified, other things like that. How unusual is that kind of behavior?
It's really not that unusual, Dan. When you look at history of these kind of cases, you find a lot of times that the perpetrator is as excited by the activity that follows the crime as they are about committing the crime. Many times you'll find that the suspect has showed up to help search for the missing child. They interject themselves into the family somehow. So, this is all follows a pattern when you look at child murders and child abductions, that these people, a lot of times, the sickness that they have is that they enjoy the aftermath of it. And certainly in a case like this, where he dumped the body in a very visible location, he was wanting this to all unfold. He certainly didn't want any time to pass before the body was discovered or anything like that.
Do we know exactly how he got a hold of Ilana?
That's part of the investigation that's going on. I can't really talk about right now, but that they're clearly looking at trying to figure out how he had access to such a small child.
No kidding.
And the FBI getting heavily involved in the investigation. Sheriff, based on your experience, does that provide a lot more resources and maybe technology as far as conducting the investigation?
They bring a lot of resources to the table, obviously, as far as manpower, expertise, technology, scientific ability. And when you've got a small department like Saginaw, in a situation like this, they need whatever assistance they can get. So it certainly is a good thing in a situation like that for the FBI to come in and bring the multitude of resources into helping work on this situation that they can. It's been a real good fit for them, and it's something that they're very experienced at, and they bring a lot to the table.
And we've seen the FBI and various police back on the scene several different times. Is that a good sign? Does that mean they're finding more clues? Or does that sometimes mean that they're looking for more, that they don't have enough?
Well, they're just going to be tremendously thorough, obviously. In a case like this, you don't want to leave any stone unturned. You want to make sure you have every bit of evidence you can gather. And so they're going to be tremendously thorough. They're going to try to get every shred or fiber of evidence that they can get in this kind of case. You certainly don't want to overlook something or do something halfway in a situation like this. So I think investigation is going to continue for some time in that arena, trying to make sure that they have every bit of evidence and every bit of information that they can gather.
Definitely. Dee Anderson, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.